laughing out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every man, woman's, non-binary folk, furries, whatever you are, where you must rise up, face your enemy, look them in the little beady bug eyes, and say, "You have no more power over me. I declare war with my soul, my spirit, and we will fight to the death right here." And that's what's happened, ladies and gentlemen. I have faced my enemy, and I have come out victorious. The Wasp has no more power over me. Me. Epic fade away. Epic fade away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to a victory. Victory! We are no longer under the thumb of a dictator. We are no longer under the stinger of the bringer of pain. The buzz with the fuzz. This Wasp, if you've been with the podcast for a while, first time welcome. Let me catch you up, friend. Howdy. We have been plagued in our home by a wasp that has been bullying me since the day I moved to goddamn Texas. Okay? This wasp has been saying, "Don't California my Texas" for some time now. And I've let it go, okay? But sometimes a lion has to show the jackal why he's a lion. When it crosses the line, there's a point in every person's life where you have to say enough. You have to rise up and declare war for future generations. Say, "I will not live like this anymore because I am not living. I am simply surviving, and I have to thrive. I was not put on this planet to play small." I'm not going to do the speech from Coach Carter. But listen, if you know, I've been being bullied by these wasps, okay, for so long now. It's been a wasp that's been living on my patio, looks at me through the goddamn window, trying to fist fight me on the reg, okay, all day. Followed us to the lake, had an assassin try to take out my girl. Nah, friend, that was the first moment I fought back. I said no. Tried laying a nest on my goddamn front door. Nah. But then it crossed the motherfucking line. And it came in my home. It came where I sleep. Where my dog rests her weary paws. And I said, this is the moment in my life where it makes or breaks me. And I went to war with this wasp. And it was scared. It tried hiding. But my girl saw it. That's the thing. We're a team here. We're a team here. And I crushed it. I crushed it completely between my fingers in a glove. I'm not that baller, okay? But I killed this wasp, okay? It got in the home, and I knew there was no going back to regular life after that. All right? And I murdered it. And you know what I did? After it was murdered, when I had it stuck in between the cabinet, I cut it in half. I don't give a shit. I'll get weird with you. I'll get real creepy, okay? Serial killer vibes. I cut it in half. I put it on the counter. I got the matches out, and I gave it a warrior's death. I lit that little motherfucker on fire. To the point, I had to spray it with water and put it down the drain because I was worried my smoke alarm was going to go off. Could you imagine if that wasp fucked me one more time? Just going out and decide to be like, all right, well, this was worth it. I'm a wasp. I don't live that long. And this was quite a cherry on top of my life. But I feel good, ladies and gentlemen, taking out the wasp. The saga is over. And just in time. Your boy is supposed to be moving out. in 2 weeks and 1 day. 2 weeks and 1 day, I'll be moving out of this place. And this was this Wasp last hurrah that it was going to take on me. And we came out victorious. So any other insects in Texas, any other little wasp thinking about making a stand, just know I catch bodies. Just know that after this podcast, I'm going and putting a little baby teardrop right on the side of my eyeballs. Just one eyeball, actually. It's going to be a little wasp eye. A little teardrop crying for you. Because I'm catching bodies now. I'm letting bodies hit the floor. And I'm not, there's no open casket when I get you. Scorched earth, motherfucker. Okay? You're going to take your fucking family wasp home in a goddamn miniature vase. Put it above the fucking little miniature fucking fireplace. Cut the music off. We fucked it up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Thursday. Listen, all that intro, welcome. Feeling good. Feeling great. Getting back on stage. Listen. You ever heard the bit with Cat Williams where he talks about the tigers in the zoo and how you put a tiger in the zoo and they just feed it and everybody comes and laughs and points and takes pictures of it and the tiger starts questioning if he's really a tiger. I don't feel like a tiger, you know? That's how I felt. Not doing stand-up for 3 weeks almost. 3 weeks maybe? Close to 2.5 weeks. Not doing stand-up. I waited till I was completely good, you know? So these fucking vaxxers, you want to call me an anti-vaxxer? These fucking vaxxers, they can't tell me shit. I'm being responsible. But it'd been almost 3 weeks since I was on stage. And you start questioning, you know? It's not even that you're questioning. It's just that you're lacking such an input of something that gives you fulfillment. For 3 weeks is a long time. That's the longest I've gone without doing stand-up since the pandemic started. You know, there was months that I was off stage, but since I started stand-up years ago, it was like 3 years prior to the pandy, maybe. I don't know the math. I'm not very good at it. Listen, good at English, not writing it. Anyway, we're getting off topic. It's the longest I've gone. And it's just to finally get back on stage the last couple nights in a row. You feel good. You feel like you're back. All right. Okay. I'm doing my thing. I still got it. You start questioning like, hey, I haven't made someone laugh in that stage. And then it's like, that's what it is about public speaking. Because that's what it is, baby. Is you got to be doing it. You gotta keep the knife sharpened. Okay. And then that's why the anxiety creeps back in when you're about to go on stage. But then when you get that chuckle, you get the laugh, it all comes back, baby. And it feels good. Feels good to be back. Hope your guys' week's going good. We're starting to hit the end of the year. People start winding down a little bit. Not me, baby. I'm pushing forward. Probably just going to keep going until maybe, I don't know. I think I got projects up until fucking near Christmas. And that's good. No complaints. After the fucking year and a half, almost 2 years we've had, everything's a blessing. You know, that's something that's great about moving to Texas is I don't know what kind of quality of life I would be having in California with my business, with stand-up, you know, trying to network in LA. LA has changed so much. It's kind of odd. Just the echo chamber / restrictions and everything. Someone like me wouldn't flourish. That's why Texas is great for me. Living where I'm living, I love it. You just get more opportunity to prosper. It's one of those things you can't objectively measure. You know, it's a vibe at the end of the day. And I caught a vibe out here. So I'm happy. Yeah. Life is good out here in Tejas. Crazy shit in the news. I posted a reel yesterday. Pfizer. And this was always the weird thing in the beginning. Isn't it kind of odd Oh yeah, I'm back talking about this shit. So tune out now if you don't want to talk about it. Isn't it odd that in the beginning there was whispers when these companies were going to start making vaccines that it wasn't going to be for profit? I remember where I was standing in my other studio in Ventura, and I was like, okay, it's a matter of time before this idea switches. And I wonder how much of this is like, put out all these articles. Nothing has to be, no one in the public really sees contracts. No one really sees the legal side of things. We just go, oh, okay, yeah, they're saying all the proceeds and profits, they're not going to do it. It's going to be more like a government thing, and they're not going to profit from this. I remember being like, it's a matter of time before this all switches, before this idea kind of goes away. And it's the same thing you see with all these promises with different bills, but I mean, all presidents do it. But I feel like it's just happening so much right now, where all these things that were promised, hey, how do we get these fucking millennials to sway the votes? Tell them we're going to cancel student loans. Look at where that is. And then, all these different incentives for how much they're going to help the poor, and, just so much shit that just goes away. It just gets removed from bills, and we need to cut the spending back. Yeah, keep counting them amberjacks in the fucking river, but let's, not help families who are struggling, who have little kids and shit like that. Let's just take that out, it's gotten all weird. And then like even the things with the mandates, about how they were never going to do mandates. Like in the beginning, it was always like, no government mandate. And that's all it is right now. And it's weird to me that people don't get upset about this. People don't, it's weird that people are still rooting for this, like how brainwashed people have gotten to where they're rooting for mandates, the fear. And it's, maybe I'm in a place where it's heightened when you're in near a city like Austin, where you get a lot of blue hair and you get a lot of people just with these wild ideas of what life is, that live in a fucking bubble, a vacuum. They don't understand why their life is miserable, but they're like still going for these ideologies. It's so weird to me. But anyway, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. Sorry. If you have blue hair, that's not a stereotype. Or is it? Well, but I was going to get at the initial reason I brought all this up. Pfizer is looking to profit in 2022, $29 billion. And that was the number when I first looked it up and wrote it down for the podcast. Allegedly, it's at 33 billion, which is, it's just such an astronomical number that we're just like, 33 to 29. But that's such an insane amount of money. Just think about that. An extra 4 billion on top of 29. They're saying that, Elon Musk just came out with that thing. They were saying that if he gave $6 billion in proceeds from Tesla, they could solve world hunger. So even just an extra 4 billion is what they're saying on top of 29. That could solve world hunger. I don't really think it could, because people aren't that good. They're not that savvy. They're not going to use the money correctly. But I'm just saying that's an insane amount of money, especially when this whole thing came from the idea that, no, we're just going to try to help the world. These pharmaceutical companies are stepping up and they're going to do the right thing. When the fuck has that ever been a reality, that pharmaceutical companies ever really do the right thing? It's insane, because, and I know, I'm past the point of feeling like I'm talking about a conspiracy or being a conspiracy theorist. It's to the point where it's like, hey, there has to be a line. And I think we're getting pretty close to the line of accepting certain things. I think it comes down to each individual making decisions and going against things. There's no weird January 6th thing. That's not the answer to any of this. It comes down to independence and making choices for yourself, because a lot of people are okay with giving up those choices. It's real odd, especially to something like a pharmaceutical company mixed in with the government. It's like we made a fucking giant monster, just morphed two together. the government, and pharmaceutical companies. It's not alarming at all. It's not alarming that there's all these other treatments that are coming out and they're being pushed down. We're not talking about it at all. And now, like, that's the thing, is there's so much government, private corporations with pharmaceutical companies overlapping, and they're now intertwining where they're making money off of each other. Okay? And when you push a vaccine mandate, who do you think is profiting from that? Of course, pharmaceutical companies are the biggest backers and lobbyists for politicians. Where do you think all that money comes from? All those donors and everything? They're the biggest one by far. And it's just insane. It's insane. It's a weird place to get in the world. It's weird that we're starting to push it on kids. The vaccine mandates, like in California, that's a real weird move. And no one's really questioning it. I know there's a lot of people who are pushing back, and it's good. We shouldn't be okay with the idea of giving vaccines to a kid. That's, they want to say, oh, it's been around for a while. It's FDA approved. Hey, motherfucker, we have people going from the FDA getting salary jobs with Pfizer. There's tons of incentives. There's people in the FDA quitting because they did not feel like it was morally correct that they were approving this stuff. That should be a red flag. And there's like zero sample size. And the fucked up part, it all comes down to risk versus reward. That's been what I've been saying this entire time. When I was even quarantining in the first year, go back, listen to some of those episodes. I for sure probably contradict myself a lot. But hey, that's what you do, baby. I know I talked a lot about quarantining. We didn't have a solution. We didn't have an answer. We were being told that it was much more dangerous. I was fine quarantining. Not for myself. When we start getting numbers of how effective or how the survival rate and everything and the statistics, I went, okay, this isn't for me, but I'm going to do it until we have a solution for other people. I get it. And we should probably try to negate risk and the chance of transferring it to someone who is at risk. And then the vaccine came out and I went, cool, you guys are good. I'm going back to living my life and trying to be productive, because not only are we in this situation where we need to get to the other side of the river, the boat is sinking. Like the economy and everything else going on. We can't shut down everything. We can't shut down all these small businesses. I am a small business. We can't shut everything down and think that they're going to survive. There's going to be so many other issues going on just because of this thing that has a very low risk versus reward. And now your boy's a survivor. So I can talk about it. I can literally say now that I'm not at risk. It's not worth it to me to get the vaccine versus the reward for more reasons than one. The main reason, I'm not really at risk. Why would I take it? I haven't got the flu vaccine in years. I don't even think I even got it in nursing school because I was like, no, I don't want it. And I could sign a paper and say, I don't want it. I accept the risk now. And I don't even think the flu vaccine is bad at all. It's been around for a long time. And here's the other thing. I don't give two shits if anybody else wants to get the vaccine. If your risk versus reward meter is different than mine and you want to make that decision, go for it. But you should be the one making that decision. And for the reason of putting it through your own, view of what is this for me, my own personal choice. Not that people are pressuring you to get it. The whole idea of, oh, you're ready to kill somebody's grandparents, fuck out of here with that shit. That's not it. Because people who get the vaccine can still transfer it. And the people's grandparents, they need to get the vaccine. It's that simple. I'm all for people getting the vaccine if they need it. That's not the issue. The issue is these mandates. And now you're pushing vaccine mandates on little kids. We went real hard anti-vax on this. And I'm not even anti-vax. I love modern medicine. I think antibiotics are amazing. I think surgery is amazing. There's so much stuff that modern medicine does right. But that doesn't mean that there's not an insidious side to it. There's good and bad with everything. So we need to try to use the good and push away the bad. That's my whole reason for not being a nurse. Literally, I've said this so many times on the podcast. The whole reason was always, I feel like there's a better way to treat this through a healthy lifestyle and nutrition rather than throwing medication at it. I'm literally someone who they told I was going to be on medication forever. I was having bad stomach problems. I was having this crazy rash, and they told me, no, you're going to need to keep taking stuff for the rest of your life. And I remember being like, fuck this. I'm literally not going to. And I found a different way to take care of things and to heal my body. And no, I'm fine. But I think that's what it comes down to. And then you have the vaccine mandate for the kids is what the issue is because there is literally such a small amount of risk for kids. The risk versus reward can actually start going more in the sense of risk because you see it in healthier younger people, myocarditis, where you're getting inflammation in little kids, which there's even a chance of heart attack. Not in kids. I don't have any studies on that, but I know it's causing inflammation. And that can be dangerous for young men who are at risk with high blood pressure. So there's more risk when you start hitting these healthier ages that should be able to handle COVID. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I just think the whole point of saying any of this is we should be looking into why these companies are able to profit this much over a mandate. Like, how great would it be, this whole Build Back Better idea, this bill, why aren't these profits being capped in the sense of, if this is really a global pandemic, then we need to use these profits for something to help the pandemic, right? Like, I'm not a socialist at all, and I'm not like, we need to eat the rich kind of shit. But I feel like when it's all tied into mandates and somehow it's all government overreach already, it doesn't sit well with me that these people can profit this much, that some fucking dude is buying another yacht, buying a house and another vacation home, going on trips around the world, getting a jet, while we have so many people suffering directly because of the mandates, directly because of restrictions and lockdowns, and their businesses is suffering. But these people are just getting more and more rich, and the balance is just going off. Because there's going to be a point, like, that's the fucked up thing, is all these small businesses we lost over the past year, people lost their livelihood. Where are they going to go? They have to go get shitty jobs with these corporations that survived through the pandemic and didn't have to follow the same amount of restrictions. You know? It's fucked up. Which is why I think it's important. Self-independence in health and in life. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Bars. But on another note, I was introduced to a term called baby doomers. Baby doomers. There is now a group of people. I thought this was silly. You know, it's not as serious. It's kind of serious. Baby doomers. A group of people who don't want to have babies because they think the environment can't handle it. That the future looks so terrible and the conditions of our world is so bad that they don't want to have kids, and they don't think people should be having kids because the world is already fucked up. Hey, you want to talk about the world being fucked up? Listen, things are bad, yes, but there is lightning and thunder and rain going on outside, and I am warm and dry, and I'm able to record a podcast and put it out and send it through the goddamn air over the internet. Life has never been easier in a sense of survival. Right now, don't quote me in 2 years when I'm fucking doing this podcast on a cave wall with my fucking chisel and stone because the economy completely collapsed. But I think this is funny because, and this is, the whole idea is, I think people's idea of the world is way more fucked up because of social media and constantly being connected and getting in an echo chamber of bad things. Algorithms are designed to keep you on. It knows what you want to see. Whether you want to see it or not, it knows what you're craving. And usually a lot of that is fear-based. That's why the news went completely fear-based. 10 dead, blah, blah, blah. Find out next. I mean, how many people would tune out if they're just like, we're going to show you puppies all night. People would be like, all right, well, that's cool. I'll look at some puppies, but I got to go. But if you were like, the killer is still on the loose, you're going to tune into that shit. And I think it's some weird reward cycle that people get looped into to where they're just constantly inundated with bad news and they like it in a weird way. It somehow is a sanctuary of comfort and everything's fucked up out there. And it's like that confirmation bias of just like, well, yeah, the world's messed up and blah, 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 because they're feeling unmotivated. They're not getting out of the bubble. Dude, I fall into it too with social media. You get on there, you think everybody's life is better. You just start scrolling and browsing and you don't even know why you're scrolling and you're trying to get these dopamine hits from it, but it's not giving you the hits and you're just like, what am I doing? And you can't stop. You get caught in a cycle. And if you allow things to get you politically charged, you're going to constantly be in a state of tension and it's going to make you think the world is much worse than it is. The truth is, when I start talking about Pfizer and all these mandates and everything, I don't come across, and I have to be fair, too many people that agree with everything. There is a lot of people that, believe in corruption and all the things going on. But I feel like the world is not in a terrible place to the point of being a baby doomer. Do we have a lot of issues? Yeah, we do. Are we definitely heading into an apocalypse? I don't know. I don't think so. I think really I try to be optimistic because I feel, what is that quote? Hard times make hard men. Hard men make weak, or hard times make strong men. Hard men make weak, or easy times make weak men. We fucked that up completely. But basically, I think hardships can build character. And I think there's a point where things actually start affecting you that you realize you have to sit with your decisions. Like you can't kick the can forever. And so that kind of feels like we're coming up to a boiling point politically where we're like, oh yeah, this was a terrible decision. I can't imagine there's that many people that voted for Biden that were like, yeah, I made the right decision. Because to be honest with you, I don't think the alternative would have been worse. I don't. I know people didn't like the tweets. I know, I didn't vote for him. I didn't think he was going to be a great leader in the sense of when it came down to Trump and Biden. I did think he was the better choice, but I didn't want that to be the choice. And I understand that some people got pushed into Biden, but the point I'm making now, I don't think that there's a lot of people who voted for Biden that think he was the right choice now. Do they regret their decision? I don't know. You guys notice I'm like slurring a lot on this? Did I have a fucking stroke? This might be the last fucking episode. Baby doomers. We had kids during the caveman days. Like there was times when like you're like maybe back then would have been the time to be like, nah, maybe we shouldn't have kids. There's a goddamn sabretooth tiger lurking outside. A woolly mammoth. Yo, I see a woolly mammoth just walking outside, or a sabretooth, and I'm like, yeah, let's bring an infant into this world. But they fucking did it. They fucking did it. Isn't that insane? The kind of hardships that humans have had. Each generation is getting softer. Okay? Listen, I don't like being cold, but I also don't like being hot. What I'm saying is my meter for suffering, as much as I like to test myself and try to be a man, be disciplined, I'm nothing compared to 2 generations ago. You put me in a challenge with them, you put me out in the middle of the jungle with them, they're going to be able to handle that suffering a lot better. And I think that's the ebb and flow of everything, you know? We're going to hit that point where I feel like people are going to be forced, you know, it's going to give us more dexterity. Do I think the world's going to end? No, I don't. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to make it. And that's also the other great thing about the internet. While they're trying to censor a lot, there is a lot of education going on. And I think, you know, for me, especially using the internet as a tool for education rather than provoking emotions out of me, being at the whim of things that happen and things people say, but trying to look through it and be like the whole Pfizer thing. I'm just like, this doesn't sit right. You know, there's no agenda no narrative that you can say to flip that, why it's okay that a company could be profiting like this, you know? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what are we doing? Why are we getting so serious on the podcast? Sometimes you just got to get serious. Like it's not a fake thing. You know, like we're living through a pandemic. How fucking weird is that sometimes to just stop and be like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is really happening. But it also feels like one that was capitalized on in a weird way. So my message to you people is to rise up. Not in some January 6th way, but just live your life. Don't be scared, homie. Go out, get fulfillment, start a fucking business, branch out, get off the teat. There's nothing that people can control you with if you create your own world, if you build your own boat. And listen, there's plenty of tools on the internet to build your own boat, baby. All right? Literally and metaphorically. If you want to build a boat and just get out of here, go for it. All right? But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Okay? I hope there was some little nugget you got out of it. Brought you a little smile, made you smirk, made you think, made you cry. And we just look on for a better tomorrow. And remember, no matter what, I still love you.